What is up, Edison duelists? This is Dionysus, aka Young Puds, back again with some more shameless, hypebeast, Gigavise content. Now, what I would like to talk about with you guys today is Gladiator Beasts. And I know I've mentioned a couple times how much I appreciate serendipity. And believe it or not, folks, right before I went to record this video, user NB96 went ahead and posted in the Gigavise channel of the Edison format Discord saying, GB is so hard, I am considering not signing for it and just hoping I don't play it. That is a bad idea, and I am here to tell you with today's video that GB is a very, very winnable matchup. You just have to have the right attitude. One approach you can take is the approach that Magical Mullet took and side in D prisons. I know Chess Prime has also been advocating for siding in D prisons. I think that works very well, and that's definitely something you should consider. However, I would like to also suggest an alternate approach that I've been taking recently and been finding a lot of success with. So between these two options, I do think GB is a very, very approachable matchup, not something to freak out about. Let's stay calm. Let's look at these replays and see how the plants are able to defeat the furries. Before we jump into the video, however, I would like to ask you guys to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I am posting shameless hypebeast Gigavise content every single day, and seeing that subscriber number go up really gives me those dopamine hits that encourage me to keep bringing you guys this high quality content. I also would like to invite you all to join our community Discord server, the link to which will be found in the description. This is the best place to hang out and talk Gigavise, talk about life, talk about Edison format, talk about whatever you want. We have a really phenomenal community, and I would like to personally invite you to come be a part of it if you are not already. Finally, one more thing. I just want to shout out the entire country of Brazil. The entire country of Brazil. I have to say, I ran into a very nice Brazilian opponent on Dueling Book last night, and I gotta say, every single time I have played against a Brazilian, it has been a really, really good experience. I had a math teacher in high school who spent some time in Brazil and actually pointed out that Brazilians invented the party. No one parties like Brazilians is what my math teacher said, and you know what they say about math teachers. No one parties like a math teacher. Math teachers know parties. So I gotta say, I'm gonna trust him on that one. Shout out Brazil. All right, enough yapping. Let's get into this first match against our opponent, who is on Gladiator Beasts. So step one, this always can be very, very helpful, is if Glads draw a bunch of monsters. However, to kind of balance things out, make things fair, we have also drawn a pretty subpar hand with not one, but two Gigaplants. So we're going to go ahead and fire our hidden armories, see if we can be fortunate enough to mill our way into a plant. We're not here, so I'm going to pick up the Supervise, of course, because we milled it, and then I'm going to pick up the DDR as well. So if we can find our way into a Gold Sark, that is also going to get us to a Lone Fire. Very unfortunate to mill the Mark of the Rose, but DDR is going to be more valuable to help us combo. Speaking of unfortunate, our opponent is going to draw into that second Laquery, so we are still going to be in an alright position. He's going to go ahead and normal summon the Rediari and just swing in for 12, go ahead and develop it. I think here there's definitely an argument to be made that maybe you want to go ahead and use that Test Tiger and go into a Rediari. Not a Rediari, rather a Secutor. But he decides to just, kind of slowly try and get things snowballing here, getting the Darius out and then setting the Book of Moon. So we are going to go ahead and draw. We do pick up a Raigeki break, which is not ideal, but it's what we have to work with. Now he's going to go ahead and summon out that Laquery, and at this point he's going to choose to Test Tiger, targeting the Darius. We are going to go ahead and Raigeki break the Darius, wasting the Test Tiger, going 2 for 2 with that little interaction there. So Laquery is going to tag out, summoning out in a quest, which is going to add back the Darius. So we are preserving our advantage here. Wisely, he is not going to go for a Rediari to banish the Gigaplant. He knows I have a DDR. And now he's just going to set that Call of the Haunted and then pass Call of the Haunted, an extremely good card in the Glad matchup. But we are going to be rewarded for our searching for DDR because we do pick up that gold sark off the top. So let's go ahead and giant trunade to clear the way for us to go ahead and be able to combo. And we are going to gold sark for that lone fire blossom. Unfortunately, folks, we're not going to be able to lone fire into Gigaplant. We are going to have to use our miracle fertilizer to bring it back. But what we can do is we can go lone fire into Titanial. And then now we can fertilizer to bring back the Gigaplant to start comboing from here. So we're really going to have to put all of our cards on the table, as it were. But the good news is that this is a situation against this Gladiator Beast deck where if you can establish a board, if you can establish some high attack monsters safely, then you are going to be in a winning position, and they are going to have to do a lot of work to come back for it. Even that Book of Moon is not going to be super helpful into the Titanial, especially because 66% is rounding up to 100%. So we're going to go ahead and get another copy plant here, and we are now going to go ahead and try to hit the Mark of the Rose or the other supervise, so we can just close out the game right here. So again, we're looking for a 66% to not hit the DDR, and in fact, we are able to dodge the DDR, and that is going to be GG. We have 8,000 points of damage running over everything. We'll get a Nettles here just in case there's like a Gorz, so we can synchro summon. If we needed a little more damage, we could have gotten the Gigaplant too, but this is going to be enough to get over for over 9,000, and that is going to be GG. Let's go into game number 2. We've sided in our big secret tech card. Let's see if it's going to be relevant for us. Let's see if we can draw it. I'm not seeing it in our opening hand, and while we do have the 2 supervise, Book of Moon's all right, and Dandelion could be something. This is the kind of hand that is really going to struggle into Gladiator Beasts until, of course, we do pick up the Lone Fire Blossom. We're just going to go ahead and fire it off right away. Try and make a play. Of course, it is going to be shut down by the War Chariot, and then we are going to be taking big damage. I decided not to set the Book of Moon, just in case he was holding the Bestiary or something like that. But that does mean that we are going to be in big trouble here. He's going to go for the Lacquery and the Equesti and get back that Chariot. So big trouble for us. Why hasn't he summoned the Equest? Yeah, okay, so I think he put it in his hand instead of summoning it, but no big deal. That is totally fine. We are now going to go ahead and hit an Armory, and we do mill our secret side deck card. I've been playing Swallow Flip. This is a really nasty card to hit into the Glads. Of course, milling it here is going to limit the surprise factor. I suppose putting out this video is going to limit the surprise factor too, but I do still think it is a really effective choice. We're going to try and Mark the Rose, the Lacquery, but that is going to be met with Book of Moon. So we are definitely behind here. We're going to go ahead and set the Book of Moon just to try and stay alive a little bit longer. He's going to go ahead and summon out the Rediari, and that is going to be GG. I can tell, he can easily tag into Bestiary, and even if we Book of Moon something face down, he could still make her a cleanup. So we're not coming back from that, so we will have to go into game number 3 and see if we can pull out the win. And we do draw a very nice hand here with a Lone Fire Blossom to establish some board presence, Gold Sark to find some follow-up, and a Book of Moon to keep everything safe. So we are going to Gold Sark for a Giant Trunade here. I'm expecting some back row to have to chew through, and then we are just going to go ahead and Lone Fire into just the Gigaplant. We don't have anything to follow it up with, but I'm hoping the Book of Moon is going to be enough to protect it, and then we can have this established board and ride it to victory. He's going to pick up a Solemn Judgment, which is going to go very nicely with that Compulse. He's going to go ahead and use a Test Tiger, and Book of Moon is going to put in work and get value setting the Rediari. That also means that we're not going to have to worry about War Chariot, but of course he does still have a pretty strong board. We're going to go ahead and hit an Armory here to find a Supervise, and we're going to try and activate that Supervise, and big surprise, that is going to get shut down by that Compulsory Evacuation device. So now we are definitely in trouble. He has a clear board. He is swinging in for big damage. That is going to be almost 3,000, 2,900 points of damage. And to boot, he is going to get 2 tags as well. So that's going to put the Lacquery ×2 on the board. So 2 big monsters for us to be afraid of. And he is going to be setting another Compulse. Compulse so good in this matchup. Definitely causes us a lot of problems. The good news here is that we did save that second Lone Fire in deck, so that Super Solar Nutrient can still be live. We're also going to go ahead and get this Giant Trunade to hand. So we're going to use that first, and that is going to be shut down by the Solemn Judgment. However, that is half of our opponent's life points, and they do seem to be finding themselves in something of a precarious position. So we're going to go ahead and get not one, but 2 tokens off of this Dandelion, tribute off one of them for a Lone Fire Blossom, and then we're going to use that Lone Fire to tribute itself to get out a Gigaplant. Here I'm now hoping to go ahead and normal summon the Gigaplant, and let's see if he's going to allow that through. Instead, I'm thinking, okay, this could be a War Chariot. Let's just try and go ahead and swing. He is going to shut that down with a little bit of a second Compulse, but now we have the Mark of the Rose, and we'll tribute over the 1 Laquari to put the Gigaplant on field. So definitely not ideal, but now we're hoping that he just, Bestiary or Proving Grounds, the searching spell, those are really his only outs. So we should definitely be finding ourselves in a pretty good position. There's a whole lot of draws, including that Rediari, that are just not going to be good enough. So he's going to go ahead and summon a Sam Knight, which will tag out with the token, and now he can get the Bestiari on board. So fortunate that we had to leave that token behind, because now he's going to be clearing our Gigaplant with the Gazaris. However, we definitely still have some outs here. We could find another Mark of the Rose. We could find some back row. We do find a Hidden Armory, which is going to be pretty good. So we'll mill the Copy Plant and then go ahead and get a DDR here, which is going to let us bring back the Lone Fire Blossom, which can then go ahead and become a Titanial. We're discarding the Dandelion here because having the Titanial is going to be very, very good with some fuel to negate. So even if, he runs over 1 token, he runs over the Lone Fire, we could still negate the Murmillo with the other token. We could also negate a Test Tiger without losing our board presence. So this is going to be very strong and stabilizing here for us. And we will then just pass. And he does pick up a second Rediari, which is going to be no help. It's going to be GG in our favor. So there you see, honestly, look at this. We didn't even draw any of our side deck cards except for that Book of Moon. Book of Moon is something I definitely recommend having in your side deck. It is such a versatile card. There's so many matchups, and it definitely helps against Gladiator Beasts, especially if you can get good value off of it, chaining it to a Test Tiger. So, just taking smart plays, playing to your outs, trying to think ahead. In game 1, the Gold Sark for the DDR, that was really, really key, kind of looking into the future and seeing what lines could bring us to the win. And then in this game, just trying to play around the back row as carefully as we could. That seems pretty good. I think on the turn where we ended on the Gigaplant, if we had made a Titanial before swinging, that probably might have been a little bit better. But we could have negated the Compulse and then had board presence still. But, hindsight's 2020. We were able to find the win in this match. So let's go ahead and check out this second matchup against Gladiator Beast and see how we did. A good way to see, if you just saw our opponent started with 41 cards in deck, if you see 41 cards in deck, you can almost instantly know that it is going to be Gladiator Beast. So we're going to go ahead and have a fantastic opening here with this double fertilizer Lone Fire Blossom start off of the Gold Sark. So we have a Dandelion to pitch, so we're getting those free tokens. And then we are just going to go ahead and Lone Fire for a Gigaplant. And then here we are going to use 1 fertilizer to bring back the Lone Fire and then tribute off one of the tokens for a Copy Plant. Copy Plant is going to become a level 6. And we are going to get a Power Tool Dragon out. Power Tool Dragon is going to go ahead and find us a guaranteed Supervise, at which point we can go ahead and bring out the other Lone Fire Blossom and go for Titanial. And this is going to be a perfectly fine start. Let's see how we can go into this. Now, our opponent does have that Cold Wave Rescue Cat combo, which is very, very scary, but fortunately for us, Titanial is going to be enough to stop any of his plays. So he is just going to go ahead and scoop it up, retaining the knowledge. We don't know what he's playing against, allegedly. We did see those 41 cards, so we could make an educated guess that it is going to be Glads, but we could also just be citing a little more generally. So like Lightning Vortex is just always a really good pick, especially if people are just saying, okay, I'm just gonna, scoop it up and let you play. And then here again, still trying to conceal it, he's on Glads. He's just going to set the Secutor and set the Mirror Force. We'll go ahead and upstart Goblin. We do find a second Lightning Vortex, which is not going to be super, super great. We'll hit an Armory to pick up a Supervise, but we are going to be forced to pass here. Not wanting to commit like a Nettles or anything onto the field, even though that probably would be correct. Here he is going to go ahead and Cold Wave, and then he is going to Prisma, sending the Bestiari. He's going to be able to tag into a Gazaris and then swing for 2400. He'll take the damage, and then he's going to get to go ahead and summon out. Does he have the second Darius? He's got the Laquari, and it looks like he just plays the one Darius. So that's going to be 2 Laquari on field that we're going to have to contend with. We pick up another Supervise, which is not super helpful. Crazy questionable here. I think there's no reason not to Lightning Vortex. This is definitely a big mistake. Leave a comment if you agree. This is a young punts moment. We're just like handing him the Heraclinos. I don't know why. Like, we have 2 Lightning Vortex. We have something we want to discard in the copy plant. This is just terrible. Like, this is actually appallingly bad play. I think we're gonna have to take this one into game 3, folks. Yeah, this is not how you want to do this. So he's gonna go ahead and he tagged the Aquest into a quest and then goes Rediari here, but you could just tag the Aquest into Rediari and tag Laquari into itself. So here comes the Heraclinos, and this is going to be too much for us to deal with this kind of hand. Again, no reason not to Lightning Vortex on that last turn. We're still not really drawing good. We're definitely in a subpar position, but that's no excuse for making terrible plays. Like, let's do better in game number 3. So now we have sided properly. This is going to be a pretty good hand. We're still on the Raigeki Prigs at this time, and then we do pick up that Lone Fire for turn. With this 2 Supervises, this is going to be fantastic. So let's go ahead and go for first the Gigaplant into Lone Fire into Nettles, going for Stardust Dragon. Stardust Dragon, another really, really strong card against Glads. Especially nice to have it going up. That's going to really limit their back row, especially when we have a Titanial to pair it with, so we're not afraid of Compulse, Book of Moon, Mirror Force, Deprison, Bottomless, all that stuff we're just not afraid of. We're also not afraid of Heavy Storm, so I'm going to set both pieces of interaction there. This is going to be quite a bit for our opponent to try and get over. We are going to Titanial, negating the Book of Moon. We don't want to give him anything free to run over, and that is going to be GG. So once again, our deck is definitely very, very strong, and if you can establish a board, Gladiator Beasts are just not going to be able to deal with it. So let's take this final test. This has been our strongest opponent, rated at 1060. This is Kyle YGO94, played against him a few times. And here we're opening just an all right hand. We could have gone Nettles Super Solar, but because we have the combo with the Dandelion and the Phoenix Wing Windblast, I am going to go ahead and hold off on that. He's going to pick up a Murmillo and try and swing in, not wanting to commit the Test Tiger into the back row. So that is going to give us time to go ahead and drop that Phoenix Wing. He's just going to set 1 and pass, and we are going to pick up a Burial. So I'm a little concerned about this back row, but this is a situation where you have to play into it. Otherwise, your opponent is just going to steal your chance to snowball into the lead. So we'll go ahead and go Lone Fire into Gigaplant. And then here I am going to decide to normal summon the Gigaplant and go now Lone Fire into Titanial here, because we do have that token, which is going to help us negate something. We'll go ahead and try swing. He's going to hold off on using that Wabaku, wisely so. That's going to give him a few more options in the future. So he's going to draw that Murmillo for turn. I got to say, I have really been liking Phoenix Wing Windblast. You saw that last match, there were still Raigeki breaks. But in between the time I played those 2 matches, I have gone ahead and gone for Phoenix Wing Windblast. Shout out Magical Mullet for finally putting me onto that. He's going to go ahead and tag out his Murmillo into Laquari after killing our token, and then pass it back to us. We are going to go ahead and start for turn. We're going to Gigaplant first, see if we can bait out a War Chariot. It's not a War Chariot. We're going to put that other Gigaplant on the field, normal summon it, bring out Nettles. Sucks to have to summon everything from our hand, but I want to put a Stardust on the field. That is the price of admission. We're going to go ahead and swing, and he is going to hit us with the Wabaku, deciding not to tag out. That's smart. Nothing really worth tagging into here. Just keeping your big Laquari is going to be best. So he's going to draw. He does pick up a Compulse, which would be good if we didn't already have the Titanial up. Titanial can also stop Test Tiger, and he really has no other way forward into this board. So that is going to be GG. Once again, seeing that Gladiator Beast, while it is strong, and if they get going before you, there's not a lot you can do, the flip side is definitely true. And if you can establish your board first, Glads is going to have a lot of trouble. Here, our opponent is going to go ahead and summon the Samnite and then set 2, including a Dust Shoot. So never fun to have to deal with Dust Shoot. However, these kinds of hands with Hidden Armory, SSN, Foolish Burial, these are the kind of hands where you don't mind dealing with Dust Shoot. So he is going to put back the Nettles. Normally not correct, but I guess he just doesn't want to give us anything to normal summon with the Super Solar Nutrient. But of course, we do have a second Dandelion in our deck. So we can go ahead and get our 2 tokens. We're going to upstart here. You wanted to Foolish Burial before the upstart, because if you draw the second Dandelion, then you can't play. But we do want to upstart before we commit, just in case we find a back row answer, Heavy Storm, Trunade, something like that. We don't, so we're just going to go ahead and commit in and see what we can pull off here. We're going to go ahead and Lone Fire, and that, of course, is going to get hit with the War Chariot. So that's going to stop us for this turn. He is going to go ahead and draw, and he is going to pick up a Murmillo for turn. Now, here he's going to set the Bestiary, and when I see him setting that, I am thinking, great, we are getting maximum value off of our Wing Blast, and also turning off the possibility of some sort of Call of the Haunted Gizaris shenanigans. Did you know that if you summon a Gizaris off of Call of the Haunted, you still get to pop 2? It says when this card is special summoned, not when it's fusion summoned. That is so good, folks. That is so, so good. But what I think is just a little bit better is spinning it back and getting 2 tokens. So we have some nice defense. Here we are going to pick up a Gold Sarcophagus. So I'm going to go ahead and hit an Armory for DDR here. I want to do this early, so then later when we Gold Sarc for Lone Fire, we have a normal summon available. But I'm actually not going to Gold Sarc on this turn, because I want him to think I'm just, I'm DDRing to maybe find an out. And, I have another brick, so just kind of trying to obscure what I'm up to. He is going to pick up an Anti-Spell Fragrance, which is going to be a big, big problem for us. He'll swing in with Murmillo, and then drop that quest, getting back the War Chariot, which is going to really limit our options. So we're looking for something really good off this draw here, and Super Solar Nutrient is not going to be it. We are going to lose to that Anti-Spell Fragrance. That's okay. Let's go into game number 3 and see if we can find our way to a win against these degenerate furries that call themselves Gladiator Beasts. On the one hand, I want to be like, yeah, Gladiator Beasts are cool because they're they're a Roman aesthetic going on with the whole gladiator thing, Latin names in there, and I'm a male in the year of our Lord 2025, so I do think of ancient Rome every single day. So Glads, ancient Rome, very cool. Glads, furries, not so cool. That is really, really tough. Speaking of tough, he is going to go ahead and choose to hold his Book of Moon, not wasting it on that Mirror Force. I am perfectly happy with that. He's then just going to set the Book of Moon, and we are going to go ahead and draw for turn, and then just pass when we do find nothing. I don't want to set the second Wing Blast here. I'd rather just hold it. He is going to summon a Secutor out, and then go ahead and Test Tiger, and Wing Blast is going to come down. Once again, proving how good it is. Like, the fact that now he's going to dead draw that Secutor again is really, really good for us. Such a fan of Wing Blast. And then we are going to pick up a Swallow Flip. So we're not able to get anything going, but we're also going to be stopping him. Plus, we know he is drawing dead. So he's going to summon out the Secutor, not even attack with it, and then pass to us. We are going to go ahead and fire the Mark of the Rose. to try and steal the Secutor. He is going to hit us with the Book of Moon to keep that Mark of the Rose off, but the main thing that we need Mark of the Rose to do was summon out the Gigaplant. So we're going to go ahead and get that off, and then just try and swing before we commit anything else. We are able to get the Secutor off the field, so now let's see if we can get a little more advantage here. So I'm going to normal summon the Gigaplant, and then go ahead and make a Power Tool Dragon here, and I'm going to use Power Tool's effect to get another card to hand. At this time, I'm just looking to kind of keep the advantage going. If I can get another Mark of the Rose, that pairs super well with the DDR. If we can get a Supervise, then all we have to do is find another way to get Gigaplant on the field, and we are off to the races. I would much rather discard a Supervise for Phoenix Wing Windblast than a DDR if I have to, because there's still 2 more Supervises in deck. The same cannot be said for DDR. That's my last DDR. So we'll just pass here. He is going to pick up a Deep Prison for turn. So once again, struggling to find a monster. We're both kind of struggling to get things going. He's going to Smashing Ground to kill the Power Tool Dragon, which makes me very glad I did decide to go into that. At the very least, I got a Supervise, so the Smashing Ground is just going to trade 1-for-1 with a Power Tool, but we have a little more card advantage off that. We're going to draw for turn. We do pick up a Titanial. Good news is that is a perfect thing to discard with Wing Blast. Bad news is it's not going to advance our game state. Our opponent's going to pick up another Smashing Ground, which is going to be no help. We're going to hit an Armory, and we do mill a Lone Fire Blossom. A really good mill. We'll go ahead and pick up the Mark of the Rose out of our graveyard. So now we have a very nice hand. We just kind of need our opponent to play a little bit. And, we can keep him from doing anything too terrible with the Wing Blast and the Swallow Flip. And in fact, he is just going to pick up another War Chariot and pass. So good for us. We're picking up a Dandelion. So now we have, something nice to discard off Wing Blast, something nice to discard off of DDR. Again, we're just waiting for our opponent to try and put something together. And he gets the Rescue Cat off. So we are going to go ahead and allow that. He's going to summon out the Sam Knight, summon out the Test Tiger. And we're going to think on the Test Tiger. And we do decide to Wing Blast the Sam Knight, get that out of here. And then we do get our 2 tokens off. I decide to discard the Dandy because he's not going to put any more monsters on the field this turn. So we'll get to keep our tokens. He's not going to be doing any tagging shenanigans. And then this way I can go ahead and try and normal summon Titanial, which is going to have the effect of just trying to chew through the back row. I did pick up that Fertilizer for turn, but with 2 sets and the fact that he's drawing, but he's not setting anymore, that tells me that these are 2 good sets that he feels comfortable behind. So I've definitely got to try and bait them out. And a Titanial is going to force out something like the Torrential, which he does indeed have. So always happy to see Torrential Tribute used, especially happy to see it just trade 1-for-1 like that. And then he is going to pick up the Sam Knight that we knew was coming. So here he is going to go ahead and summon out the Sam Knight and swing in. We will take the 1600, and he is going to get the tag for the Darius to try and, just get a bigger field going. But we are going to have a Swallow Flip to stop that. So compared to Deep Prison, Swallow Flip, I like that it can stop the Gazaris. So, if he summons a Gazaris to try and clear your back row before he attacks, Swallow Flip is going to stop that. Deep Prison would just get blown up. The downside is he does still get a tag off if he needs to put something back in deck, and you do take a little bit of damage. But really, really good tempo play. Also being a counter trap, I think, is super, super relevant. I know there's another version that does something similar, but it banishes the monster. But I think counter trap is really, really relevant. Only Solemn Judgment or a prophylactic trap stun is going to stop that. Anyways, we are going to go ahead and draw for turn. We do pick up a Copy Plant, and now we are thinking, okay, it's time to commit. So we're going to go ahead and Miracle Fertilizer for Lone Fire Blossom and attribute the Lone Fire to get a second Lone Fire out from the deck, thinning the deck out very nicely, summoning out the Gigaplant, and then we are going to Supervise. You can see that this is a 2 Copy Plant build. I am a fan of that. I do think the math checks out, so to speak, with having an extra Copy Plant to make SSN more live. Here, looking into these 2 back row, I am going to decide to make a Stardust Dragon to go with our Gigaplant wanting to play around Mirror Force. We do attack in with Gigaplant. When that goes through, I think, okay, we'll attack again as well. I did consider that this could be a deprison, but I said, you know what, guys? I got a DDR in hand. Who cares? So I am just going to pass. He is going to go ahead and Smashing Ground to destroy the Gigaplant. So now I'm wishing that I had DDR'd last turn. That probably would have been better. But we are going to go ahead and be hashtag never punished. So we'll bring back that Stardust Dragon and then swing in for 25. And that is going to be that. Our opponent is going to draw and pick up a Wabaku, which will at least keep him in the game a little bit longer. We're going to pick up that second Swallow Flip, which is going to be really, really fantastic. It's going to make it a lot more difficult. Even if he has an out for the Stardust Dragon, we can hopefully prevent any future plays that he might have coming. He's going to pick up a Bottomless, which is again going to be no help. We are going to pick up an SSN. Speaking of no help, he is going to Wabaku to live one more turn, and then he is going to draw a Call of the Haunted. However, since that summons in attack, we are still going to have enough to get over and win. So we are going to go ahead and try and attack directly. He is going to Mirror Force here. We will, of course, be negating that, but that is going to buy him one more turn so he can Call of the Haunted the Rescue Cat. This time, we're going to Gold Sark to pick up Giant Trunade just to clear out the rest of the back row and try and win. And then Stardust is going to come back in the end phase, now free of its dependency on the DDR. So now something like Giant Trunade is going to remove Stardust Dragon. So Stardust is going to be firmly on the field. He is going to go ahead and summon Laquari, and then try and Call of the Haunted back for the Rescue Cat. And then he can just very simply Rescue Cat into the Samnite, into the Test Tiger, and then he can Test Tiger, target the Samnite, shuffle it back into deck, summon out the Bestiary, and then try and clear our back row. I assume he's also thinking, okay, well, if we negate with Stardust, then he can War Chariot to deal with our Stardust for all eternity. But Swallow Flip is going to once again show how good it is. Dimensional Prison right there. We would have had to let that get destroyed, and then he summons the Gazaris. We try and negate it. He flips the Chariot. We lose. Here, instead, we are going to go ahead and win, and we draw a Heavy Storm, so we don't even need to wait for the Trunade. I'm going to go ahead and drop the Heavy, and that is going to be GG. So, shout out Swallow Flip. I used to play this card, and then I moved away from it, but I think it is really in a position where it is super, super good. So give Swallow Flip a try. Let me know what you think of it down in the comments. And I will see you guys tomorrow with some more shameless Hypebeast Gigavise content. We're going to keep trying out things in this new build of Gigavise. I am playing the Upstart Goblins. I'm a big believer of it. I found that in a lot of games with the no Upstart Goblins, I was just having trouble finding my way to combo. So I put the Upstart Goblins back in along with the second Copy Plant and the 3 SSN, and that's been feeling really, really good. So I look forward to showing more of the deck to you guys, and I will see you guys very, very soon. Again, make sure you subscribe, join the Discord, link in the description, and I will see you tomorrow. This has been Dionysus, aka Young Puds, signing off.